So I recently got offered the opportunity to help and test the HDOS client. If you don't know what that is, it's okay. This is a client that a community of people have been making that aims to restore the 2008 graphics to Old School Runescape. And oh my god, it's beautiful. Like, look at this. It's amazing. I want to make a video to showcase this client, and, well, I want to do a couple of other things with another RuneScape video too. So, welcome to Iron Deficient, a Ironman series that aims to cover every single quest in free-to-play and make it look goddamn good. So, you're going to be seeing in this series quests like you've never seen them before. You may have seen them in HD before, but you've never even seen them like this. Without further ado, now we've finished Tutorial Island, let's check out what's on for today. So first up is everyone's favourite, Cook's Assistant. The Lumbridge chef is in one hell of a pickle. See, it's the Duke's birthday and he needs to bake him a birthday cake. Bad side of this is he forgot to order all the ingredients. So I offered to get him some milk, eggs, and flour. Let's get started. First up, we are visiting the site of the Grand Cow Massacre and gathering some milk. And then we are visiting the site of the Grand Chicken Extermination and gathering some eggs. I'm actually going to kill a few chickens while we're here for food. Crossing back over to the other side of Lumbridge, we pick some wheat and grind it into flour. I also stopped by the general store on the way back to try and sell some of the wheat for gold, but turns out wheat's worth nothing. And we bring the ingredients back, and that is the first quest complete. Cake baked, denied access to the Duke's party. Also, for cooking. So I tried cooking these chickens in preparation for the next quest, and I managed to burn all of them but one. So I'm gonna go get some more chickens, and then we'll get started. Swinging into this next quest, we have the Restless Ghost. This one is a classic, and what has happened is there's this ghost haunting this graveyard, and we need to track down someone that knows how to get rid of it. This guy is Father Ernie, who lives in the Lumbridge Swamp. Scouring the Lumbridge Swamp, we do eventually track down Father Ernie. And he's not happy to see us. He's been spending a while in isolation and he doesn't want to come out. So he simply gives us this necklace and says, "You're smart enough, this'll let you talk to ghosts, you solve the problem." Arriving at the Lumbridge graveyard and confronting the ghost, he is actually off his head. Quite literally. See, a wizard of some description has seemingly taken his skull and absconded with it in the wizard's tower. And the ghost says the only way to stop him from haunting the graveyard is to collect that skull. So once again, we pass through the swamps to the wizard's tower to collect the skull. Searching the depths of the wizard's tower, we do find the skull placed upon the altar, and a skeleton comes to life, and we Indiana Jones it straight out of them. Arriving back at the Lumbridge graveyard, we return the head, setting free the ghost, earning a quest point and gaining 9 prayer. Hello and welcome back to Iron Deficient, Episode 2, Electric Boogaloo. From here we are all about moving forward, adventuring far and wide, progressing the account towards the end goal of completing Dragon Slayer. Now to do this, we actually need to get the dream gear and to be able to actually wear it. So today is all about our first upgrades and first steps. And the first of those steps is going to be visiting a witch that apparently lives out in Remington. Rumour has it she's brewing a potion that can draw out some of our dormant magical energy, and our goal is to find that witch and help her with that potion. But we can't just go to Remington. The path is actually ravaged by vicious highwaymen, and we need to gear up to fend them off, otherwise we risk dying. Now these highwaymen also hold an essential piece of equipment for the account, the famed Black Cape. Now to be experienced enough to make the gear that I want, I'm going to have to smelt and smith about 100 bronze bars. That also means I need to mine 100 copper and 100 tin ore. Then we'll be kitted out with a bronze scimitar, full helm, chain body, and kite shield. Now before we finish up and go on our full adventure, I do want to get a little bit more experience to get my smithing up to 15, and I hear a legend that there's a dwarven mine to the north where there is a pickaxe specialist, so I'm going to pay him a visit and upgrade to a steel pickaxe. And with that, we have 15 smithing time to hunt down this witch. Before we arrive at Remington, we're going to quickly stop by Draenor Village to quickly cook some food. And with that, we have 7 cooking. As we continued our journey, we encountered a highwayman, and after a long, drawn-out battle, we managed to slay him and get the Black Cape. Arriving at Remington, it turns out the rumours are true. There is a witch that is trying to produce a potion that can draw out some of our magical energy. But to finish this potion, Hetty actually needs some more ingredients. Specifically, she needs a rat's tail, some burnt meat, eye of a newt, and an onion. Alright, first off we are going to stop by Betty's Magical Emporium at Port Sarim and get ourselves an eye of the newt. Second, we're going to get the rat's tail. I'm going to visit Draenor's zombie-infested sewers for this one. Lastly, we are to stop by the field northwest of Remington and pick ourselves an onion. Thankfully, we accidentally burnt some meat before when we were cooking some food, so we don't actually need to worry about that ingredient. Finishing up, we return the ingredients to Hetty and take a drink from the potion, giving us a quest point and the magic level of 4. Hello and welcome to episode 3, Getting Stuff for Free. Today we're going to be completing 3 quests for the account. These quests will earn us not only some skilling upgrades, but also access to a special sword that is equally as powerful as the steel longsword, but does not have the attack requirements to wield. These quests also reward quest points, which is important for our end goal of completing Dragon Slayer, as we'll require 32 of those bad boys in order to access the Champions Guild. Without further ado, there's a squire in Falador that needs our help. Meet Sir Vivian's squire. He's lost his master's sword, and it actually gets even worse. The sword is one of a kind, you see, and it's our job to hunt down someone that can make it. Specifically, we're looking for an extinct dwarven race, and where better to start our search but the Grand Varrock Library. If you don't know much about Varrock, there is no greater hive of scum and villainy. It is home to GF buyers, money doublers, and bank standers. Carefully weaving our way through Varrock City, we arrive at the library and ask the librarian about this extinct race of dwarves. He mentions that he knows one that lives south of Port Sarim, and that he is easily bribed with red berry pie. Now to make this bribe, we need to gather red berries, flour, and a pie dish. Our first stop is just going to be south of Varrock, where we'll get some iron for the sword, as well as pick the red berries. Then we'll stop by Port Sarim Grocer and get some flour. Lastly, we'll return to Varrock, enter the castle, and steal a pie dish from the king and bake a pie in his own kitchen. Now let's find this dwarf. Meet Thurgo. Thurgo is a rare dwarf and a master smith, and when we offer him a pie, he offers to make us this special sword for Sir Vivian. But he's got 2 problems. He can't make the sword without an image for reference and requires a special kind of ore known as blurite. Our first job is to find an image of the sword. Speaking with Squire Boy back in Falador, he says Sir Vivian keeps a picture of the sword in his bedroom to comfort him at night. So we quickly run and grab the image and return it straight back to Thurgo. Now time to get the ore. This is where it gets dangerous. Nearby Thurgo's hut is a blurite mine. However, this isn't just any regular mine. It's filled with muggers, pirates, hobgoblins, ice giants, and even frozen warriors. Simply entering this place is risking our life, and death means the end of this account. But we want a sick sword, so we're gonna risk it to get the biscuit. Eating just about all our food, we just managed to escape with the ore. Back on the surface, we get Thurgo to smith us 2 swords. Then we return to Falador, completing the quest and getting 31 smithing. Alright, this quest is a quick one. This is Doric. This is Doric's anvil. We want to use Doric's anvil, but he isn't just gonna let us use it. He wants us to get some supplies for him in exchange. Specifically, he wants 6 clay, 4 copper, and 2 iron ore. while we were at Remington Mine, we are going to get some extra iron ore to make ourselves some upgrades of our fresh new smithing levels. And with that last ore, we'll return to Doric, completing the quest and get in 23 mining. Returning to Valador Furnace, I do decide to smith those iron bars I had before, but despite having a 50-50 chance of creating the bar, I failed on almost every occasion but one. Putting that into perspective, that is a 1.76% chance of failing that bad. Welcome to the Goblin Village in northern Asgarnia. They have a problem. They're on the brink of civil war. One leader has a strong desire for the new armor color to be red, while the other wants it to be green. And as a diplomat, it's our job to provide some alternatives. We're going to offer them both orange and blue armor, and to do this we need to collect materials to make some dyes and then dye the goblin male. To do this we need to find 2 woad leaves, 2 onions and 3 red berries and take them to Aggie in Draenor Village. Alright, so our first stop is going to be the Falador Botanical Garden for the woad leaves. Next is Remington for the onions, followed by the Portsroom Grocer for the red berries. Lastly is Aggie, and after handing the materials and making the dye, it is time to return to the Goblin Generals. Returning to the Goblin Village, the first thing we do is show the generals the orange armor. And they hate it. So we decide to show them the blue armor. And they still hate it. Then they talk a bit and suggest brown armor, which ironically was where they were before this whole debacle. I offer them the brown armor, they love it, quest complete and 3 crafting. Hello and welcome back to Iron Deficient. Today we're going to be hurling the account even closer towards our main goal of Dragon Slayer. But our goal for today is to complete a quest called Vampire Slayer. This quest, if done early, which we are doing, rewards a massive amount of attack experience. But the quest does require us to defeat a level 34 enemy, and with our current setup, we can barely kill a level 9 wizard. So I did some research and it turns out this enemy is actually weak to magic. So part of our journey today is going to involve completing some quests that level our magic skill and kitting ourselves out with some wicked mage gear. So without further hold up, let's get started. And the first step of this magical journey is to visit the Duke of Lumbridge. See, he's got a bit of a pickle. He's found this magical talisman and he has absolutely no clue what it is. So like any ordinary person, he gives it to a complete stranger, which is us. And our job is to take it to the Wizard's Tower and see if they know anything. Visiting the Wizard's Tower, we decide to check the spooky basement, where we nearly got killed by a skeleton last time. And in this basement, we meet Cerador. We show him the artifact and he remarks there's some piece to some puzzle that he's trying to solve. And then he gives us a package and tells us to deliver it to Aubrey in Varrock. When we arrive at Varrock, we're not just going to deliver this package, we're going to do some shopping too. And our first stop is going to be Zafstaff's, where we'll buy a Staff of Air, and then we're going to stop by Thessalia's Fine Clothes for some extra equipment, aka the robe top and bottom. Then, our last stop is going to be Aubrey, where upon giving him the package, he requests to look over it for some time, and we give him just that. After giving some time, Aubrey hands us some research notes and rushes us back to Cerador. We hand the notes over to him and he fills us in on the secrets of rune crafting, exposing us to the horror. Now we take the time to explore the Wizard's Tower a little bit further. In doing so, we discover Wizard Mizgog. He has a bit of a problem. Wizard Greyzag next door has run off with his magical beads and enlisted an army of imps to hide them. And he wants us to commit a massacre upon those imps in order to get those beads back. In return, he offers us some magical training and, most importantly, an amulet of accuracy. This amulet is key to expanding this account. It provides a balanced +4 bonus to all our offensive stats. With that last bead acquired, we return to the Wizard's Tower. When we arrive, Mizgog takes some time to check over the beads just to check if they're really his, and then he presents us with our award. That means 10 magic and an amulet of accuracy. Now it's time to investigate this vampire. Here's the story so far. This guy Morgan, who lives in Draenor Village, tells us that his village has been ravaged by the evil Count Draenor consistently over the last couple of days, and he needs us to kill him. To do this, we're going to need to actually gain some knowledge about hunting vampires, because I know nothing, and supply ourselves accordingly. In regards to supplies, we're going to need to gather garlic, runes for magic, and some form of food. First on our list is the garlic, which fortunately is stockpiled in Morgan's house. Then our next step is to visit Dr. Harlow, who is in the Blue Moon Inn in Varrock, drinking away the pain of his losses. Dr. Harlow provides us with some information about vampires. He explains that the mere presence of garlic will severely weaken them. And he also explains that you can't actually kill a vampire unless you plunge a wooden stake into their heart, which he also conveniently provides us with. Now all that's left is to supply ourselves with magical runes and food. To be safe, I'm going to purchase enough runes to cast Earthstrike 40 times. That should be enough to kill Count Draenor. And then for food, I'm going to use wine. Wine is cheap and heals 11 HP, which is a huge amount compared to anything that I can cook. However, it does have a downside. It lowers my attack by 2 each time I drink it. Luckily, I'm using magic in this battle, so any weakening effect will not actually lower my odds of winning. Now it is time to enter Draenor Manor and take the battle to the Count. As the battle ends, the vampire didn't stand a chance. I was way over-prepared, and completing this quest, my attack booms all the way from 4 up to 21. Today we're going to redefine our approach towards Dragon Slayer. Previously, I had a plan to get the Dream Gear and then complete Dragon Slayer. However, after killing Count Draenor with magic last episode, I've actually gained some extra confidence, and this extra confidence has changed everything. Realizing the power of magic and how cost-effective wine is as food, I developed a 4-step plan to beat Dragon Slayer. Step 1 of this 4-step plan is going to involve me getting some quest points so I can access the Champions Guild. I need 32 and I currently have 15. Step 2 is going to involve training my magic. Currently my magic level is nowhere near strong enough to beat Elvarg, and I plan on using magic to take him out. Magic has one drawback, despite being really powerful. It's really expensive, so I'm going to need to build up a cash stack and then spend that on runes so I can train. Step 3 is stock up. After I've done my training, I'm going to need to acquire some more magical runes and resources so I can beat Elvarg. Step 4 is quite simple. Complete Dragon Slayer. Now, this is going to take a couple of episodes. We're close, but there's still many little journeys along the way. And today, we're setting out on our journey. And we're getting some very important gear on the way. First up for the day is going to be a real quick quest, one that we should have done ages ago, Sheep Shearer. This is Fred the Farmer. This is Fred the Farmer's sheep. This is the thing. Fred the Farmer would really like a hand shearing his sheep. He would also really appreciate it if we could spin that wool into balls. So, first off, we're going to head over to the farm and shear these sheep, all while avoiding the thing. Then, we're going to make our way to Lumbridge Castle and spin that wool into balls. Then, we're going to head back, completing the quest, giving us 150 crafting XP, 30 coins, and a quest point. After completing a hard day's work, we make our way over to the Sheared Ram pub in Lumbridge, and we meet a tourist named Vios. Vios is a bit frustrated. He can't seem to work out a clue scroll, all while he's on a pub crawl, getting slizzard like an Arctic blizzard. He asks us for some help with the scroll, and once we've worked it out, he tells us that we should meet him at the end destination of his pub crawl, the Rusty Anchor Inn in Port Sarim. So we have a look at the scroll, and the first clue points us towards Bob's axes. So we have a dig around there, and we find a second clue. This clue leads us behind Lumbridge Castle. We have a dig there, and we find some kind of mysterious orb. And when we touch that orb, it gets hotter and colder as we're getting closer to obviously what will be our next dig site. This takes us all the way to Draenor Village, and we dig right there. There, we find our last clue. It is a Caesar cipher, one of the most simplest and widely known encryption techniques originating in ancient Rome. And there's no evidence actually that this technique has ever worked, as most of Caesar's enemies were illiterate. Anyway, this leads us to the Draenor Pigpen, where we dig up a chest. We don't even bother opening the chest, we just take it straight to Vios in Port Sarim, who rewards us with 200 coins, a beginner clue scroll, a quest point, and an antique lamp, which we put into rune crafting, of course. This here is Redbeard Frank. He has a red beard, and he also has a craving for some Karamja rum. But he has some bad news. He actually can't get Karamja rum. Why can't he get Karamja rum? Because border security has actually prevented that rum from coming to the mainland. So we agreed to smuggle some in for him, and in return, Redbeard Frank is going to tell us where his treasure is. Our first step is going to be to head to Karamja and then buy the rum from Zambo, who runs the Karamja Wine, Spirits and Beers store. Now that we have the rum, we need to find a way to get it past the customs and back to the mainland. So we're going to have to get creative. Nearby is a banana plantation, and at Port Sarim is a grocer that needs delivery of bananas from this very plantation. So what we're going to do is get employment at the plantation and then pick 10 bananas and prepare a crate for delivery while smuggling their very rum in that crate. Returning to Port Sarim, we're going to get employment at the grocer, search the crate, and voila, we have the rum. Returning to Redbeard Frank. In exchange for the rum, he gives us a key that fits a chest in the Barrock Blue Moon Inn. We travel all the way to Barrock, open the chest to find merely a message. This message leads us to Falador's Botanical Gardens. We find the X, we dig, but we are interrupted by a local gardener. He is upset that we dug in his garden, so we murder him. Then we get back to digging, find the treasure, completing the quest, earning a whole heap of goodies, as well as 2 quest points. So here's the story. At Barbarian Village is a hole in the ground, and this hole leads to the Stronghold of Security. Hidden in this stronghold is a whole series of treasures, mainly a lot of money and what will be some of the best boots we can get for a long time on this account. However, this place is incredibly dangerous. It is filled with loads of incredibly powerful enemies that get stronger and stronger as we go deeper and deeper. There's also these strange enchanted doors which might seem harmless but present us with a very difficult obstacle. Some grueling questions about account security that we have to answer correctly, otherwise we are trapped in the stronghold. And to do this, we need a montage. And with that, we collect the boots and escape the stronghold. Two households, both alike in dignity, in fair Varrock, where we lay our scene. From ancient grudge break to new mutiny, where civil blood makes civil hands unclean. From forth the fatal loins of these two foes, a pair of star-crossed lovers take their life. This here is Veronica. She is chilling just outside Draenor Manor and is awfully distressed, like a child with their head stuck in the railings, for the 3rd time this week. See, her fiancé Ernest has gone missing in Draenor Manor, and as a result, she requires a brave and bold adventurer to investigate said manor. Exploring the manor, we discover and meet Professor Odenstein and his chicken, which is conveniently named Ernest, and with a plot twist the magnitude of Snape killing Dumbledore, we discover that Ernest was egging on Odenstein, and, well, now he has been turned into a chicken. I'm not joking, so stop cracking up. To turn this bad egg back, we need to gather some materials from around the mansion. Specifically, we need a pressure gauge, rubber tube, and oil can. The pressure gauge is located in this fountain full of man-eating fish. However, we have come prepared, and with the power of poison, we procure a pressure gauge from these pestling creatures and continue on our way. The next thing we need to get is this rubber tube. It is in this locked room, but that doesn't stop us at all because we found the key. The last thing on the list, though, is the oil can. This one is in the basement, and in this basement is a series of locked doors, and keys are too mainstream for these locked doors. They're instead powered by levers, and not even a lever could hold me back in this case. Returning to Professor Odenstein, we give him the items, and he transforms Ernest back to human, giving us 4 quest points and 300 dollary dues. Next up was Mythom Mystery. Now, this quest is a bit different from the others. All the other quests I have previously done before on my main account, but this was actually the first time I had ever done this quest. I ain't gonna lie. It is as boring as a behind-the-scenes segment of a sloth documentary. Let's just blast through this bad boy with one swift montage. And with that out of the way, we are now just 3 quest points away from being able to start Dragonslayer. To get those last 3 quest points, we're going to try and kick it off with a bit of a bang. So, welcome to Black Knight's Fortress. Sir Amic Vaz is in a little bit of a pickle. He doesn't really like what's going on over at Ice Mountain, and he wants us to infiltrate and disrupt whatever their schemes are over there. Our first step is to acquire a disguise and a cabbage as a ration for our journey. Our disguise will consist of an iron chain body and a bronze medium helm. See, the Black Knights over at Ice Mountain have been going through a bit of budget cuts recently and can't really afford proper guards. Once we make our way over to the fortress, we stealthily sneak our way through the labyrinthian layout to overhear a conversation. See, the Black Knights are planning to raise an army. This is bad, and they trust a goblin to get a very specific cabbage. Luckily for us though, we had a slightly less specific cabbage that can ruin their plans. We drop the cabbage like it is hot, and that causes a chain reaction with their potion and completely ruins their plan. We return to Sir Amic Vaz and get rewarded handsomely. With that done, we can finally start Dragonslayer. Next episode, the grind and the slaying of the dragon. Subscribe to see more, like, and comment.
Hardcore Ironman will only have one life.
Get tacking! I'm done. I'm out.
闇を欺いて切な音交わして刃すり抜け奴らの隙をつけ貫いた想いが未来を開く Like a burning stone 熱く Like a burning stone 血脈に刻まれた因縁に浮き上がる消えない誇りの絆握りしめて
Today, ladies and gentlemen, we are completing Dragonslayer. Just for a recap on the last episode, we developed a strategy for the final boss of this quest. A strategy so powerful that if it works, it could be the lowest level Elvarg kill without flinching, being around 23 combat. This strategy would use wine and magic to slay the dragon, wine being a really strong form of healing food, and magic being incredibly high damage. This strategy is well and truly possible. However, before I could start the quest, I had a few grinds to do. Firstly, I needed to meet the smithing requirement for the quest and build up a cash stack, so I mined and smithed for iron equipment and sold that off to get enough money to buy a ton of runes. Then I went to town on the Dark Wizards, slaughtering them one by one, which is quite handy for training magic because they drop multiple runes to help me in my journey, such as laws and natures. With that grind out of the way though, our adventure to take on one of RuneScape's most iconic quests begins. Dragon Slayer is a rite of passage to access the Champions Guild. Through our questing, we have proven ourselves a worthy hero just to enter the guild, but to really be a member? Well, the Guildmaster redirects us to Oziark for a quest, the guy that smiths rune plate bodies, and he tasks us with killing the Dragon of Crandor. To do this, we need 3 things. Number 1 is a shield to protect us from dragonfire, a ship, and then a map that directs us to Crandor. The first 2 are easy. The Duke of Lumbridge will easily give us a shield that can protect us from dragonfire, and we can just buy a ship at Port Sarim. The map, however, is a bit of a challenge. It has been divided up into 3 pieces and is spread all across the world of RuneScape. The first piece has been hidden in Melzar's Maze. This place is a unique labyrinth loaded with challenging enemies, specifically a demon at the end. And this will be a real test as to whether or not my magic is going to be powerful enough to beat Elvarg. And to get through this maze, I need to kill the correct order of Melzar's minions and collect the keys they drop to open the doors. And to do this, I'm going to enlist the protection of Wayne Kerr 1, who will fend off the enemies as necessary. Maze cleared, well, we just have to kill Melzar and his demon. And with that, we have the first map piece collected. The second map piece has been hidden by a mage called Thelzar, who, after talking to the Oracle of Ice Mountain, has sealed away the map piece behind a magical door. And to open it, we need an unfired bowl, wizard's mind bomb, lobster pot, and a piece of silk to break that magical seal. These are common ingredients, and I just find them really easy, unlock the door, and get the second map piece. The final map piece has been stolen by a goblin named Wormbrain, who we find in the Port Sarim jail. This goblin refuses to hand over the map unless we give him 10,000 gold, which is a lot, and I'm broke. But the dark wizards that we slaughtered dropped a significant amount of war runes, so we just killed the goblin and telekinetic grabbed the map piece. Last on the list was a boat. Being in Port Sarim, we quickly purchase one of the boats and enlist Ned as captain. Unfortunately, we couldn't set sail just yet. The boat was in poor condition and we would need nails and planks of wood to repair it. Smithing nails is really easy, however the planks created a unique challenge. In free-to-play, there is only one place where planks of wood spawn, the wilderness. This leaves me open to being killed by other players, and being a hardcore Ironman, well, there's only one life. Again, we enlist the protection of Wayne Kerr 1 and collect the planks. Thankfully, there were no players, and after repairing the boat and prepping all the supplies, we set out for Crandor. The first attempt was a failure, a close brush with death. But at that stage, a new strategy came to mind. What if we fought Elvarg in 2 trips? That means double the wine, and swiftly we gathered enough resources to repair the boat twice and set out twice more. This attempt was met with failure again. But worse this time. It was time to come up with a new strategy. To complete this quest, I had to abandon my goal of completing Dragon Slayer at a super low level. I couldn't handle failure again, and I could at least be happy killing Elvarg at a lowish level. Melee was the new plan. I spent weeks killing wizards and frogs, and I built up a completely new set of gear, and this is what we're running with. We're also going to be using stew as food instead of wine, as it heals a whopping 11 HP. Preparing the boat again, I set off, and this is the fight. After 20 whole minutes, success! It was done, the greatest quest in RuneScape history. So, I return to Oziark, I complete the quest getting 34 defense and 44 strength. But I achieved something more than that. A year ago I started this series with a pretty simple goal. Complete a milestone in RuneScape, make it look cool. And while that might have been a really basic goal for some, I grew so much on the way. I learned how on earth YouTube works, I rediscovered my love for animation and learned Blender, just so I could make the intro for this video. I discovered such a wonderful community of people that have supported me through this endeavor. RuneScape is a game, and it can be enjoyed in so many ways. It's truly something special. And with that, we conclude Season 1. Season 2, we become a hero. Make sure you subscribe for more. I'll see you next time.